What is it that drives one of the most influential platforms on the internet? An online community where 97 million daily active uniques meet on Reddit, which is often called the front page of the internet. But Reddit is not just a platform for memes and debates. It's actually a hub for authentic engagement and interest-based communities. That's one of the reasons I find myself endlessly scrolling every night. And from its massive growth in user base to its innovative advertising strategies, I wanted to learn more about how Reddit is redefining how people interact with content and each other online. So today I'm going to be joined by Jen Wong. She is the COO of Reddit, and we're going to explore what sets Reddit apart in this increasingly crowded social and digital landscape. We'll also discuss the platform's meteoric rise in users, how Reddit is leveraging AI and machine learning to improve accessibility and search, and also its unique approach to conversational commerce that's changing the way people engage with brands. And Jen is also going to be sharing her insights into how Reddit ensures safety, inclusivity, and allows users to age into the platform while delivering value for advertisers in a community-first environment. Quite a tricky balance, I would imagine. So what makes Reddit a thriving ecosystem of ideas, and how is it shaping the future of online interactions? Let's get Jen onto the podcast to unpack the story behind the platform's continued success. So a massive warm welcome to the show, Jen. Can you tell everyone listening a little about who you are and what you do?
Thanks for having me. I'm Jen Wong. My day job is I'm the COO of Reddit, which practically means that I lead our business, which is primarily advertising today and a little data licensing. I joined the company about 6.5 years ago, and I've spent most of my career in consumer media and tech. So I love being at the intersection of how people are finding information, how it's changing, how the internet is changing, how people do that. And that's always the intersection of culture and information and technology, which is a fun place to be.
Well, I was so excited to get you on the podcast today and sit down with you because I suspect, as this is a daily tech podcast, just about every single person listening will have a Reddit account. It's where we all get our information from. And not only that, there's such a vibrant community in there on any subject that you could possibly name. And more recently, Reddit has seen tremendous growth too, especially with users hitting an all-time high I was reading about before you came on to join me today. So I'm curious, I've got to ask, what do you attribute this surge in users to? And what does it say about the shifting landscape of how ultimately people seek information online today?
Yeah, I mean, there are more people coming to Reddit than ever before. We're at an all-time high in terms of users. You know, we had over 97 million daily users globally. It was up over 50% year over year. So it's really accelerated. I mean, look, we've always believed that everyone can find a home on Reddit, you know, because everybody has interests and passions, and every community and, you know, interest is represented on Reddit. So we always believed it was very extensible. And, you know, Reddit's been around for 19 years, and over that time has expanded in terms of its topics and its breadth. And, you know, I think continues to do that. In the last couple of years, a couple of things that we've done is we've done a lot of work on the product. I think the product really fulfills the promise of being able to connect you with communities of interest and get a human perspective, a high quality human perspective that's, you know, not tainted by influence or anything else. That's real world perspective. And Reddit has just gotten, I think, more extensible and more mass as a result. I think more people can access Reddit because the product has made it easier to find your community. I think that's a big part of it. And we'll continue to do that. I think that's something, you know, as we grow internationally, as we continue to do work on the product, you know, Reddit will get better and better at doing that. And look, Reddit's really unique. It's really different. It's organized in communities. It's anonymous. It's moderated by users. It's not people turning a camera on themselves. It's not a follower-driven model, which is very common in social media. In fact, 30 to 70% of Redditors are not on peer platforms. And I think that's because Reddit is just so unique in what it offers. So, you know, I think Reddit is just becoming much more accessible to a lot more people, which is exciting.
It really is. And although we talk about how people get information online, the word that we've both used a few times already is community. And it's not just that community coming together about shared interests. I think it's also sharing diverse opinions. And I think that is so important in this world of polarization at the moment. And also, Reddit has become one of the most searched items on Google as a result. So what do you think it is that sets Reddit apart from other online platforms, especially in terms of unique information and conversations users can find on the platform?
Well, it's interesting. Reddit, last I checked, is the sixth most searched term in 2024 in the US, which is pretty stunning. I mean, that means people are intentionally typing in Reddit in their search queries, and it's to get information. And that's because the information on Reddit, you just can't find anywhere else, because Reddit is a set of communities that are really well informed. They're incredibly passionate about their topics, and it's real people, right? So it's everything from, hey, I'm a new parent and I need, gear for XYZ. And you want a real parent who has actually had to load a car seat into a car to tell you that this is the easiest one to put in. Or, hey, I want to make the best pizza possible. What are the 3 things that I need? Someone's actually have to have tasted that pizza and been through that journey to give you that advice. And you just can't find that anywhere else. And over the course of 19 years, we have the equivalent of that credible information, that human perspective on so many topics. And so, while you might join, and you often join Reddit in your 20s, let's say, when you're developing a sense of self or, separating from parents and, getting your first job, you age with Reddit. You never age out of Reddit, because as you get married, have kids, buy a house, buy a car, deal with aging parents, there are other humans in the world who can help you through that. And that's so unique. So Reddit is helpful sort of at every stage of your life.
And I think one of the things that makes Reddit stand out as well is it's not built around a social graph, but rather focusing on interests, hobbies, and topics that we're passionate about. And I say that as a Redditor myself. So can you tell me a bit more about how that approach ultimately creates a different experience for users compared to, let's say, traditional social media platforms where they get algorithms that point them to information?
Well, the first is we're anonymous. And that makes a big difference in terms of your sort of personal, your privacy and your sense of safety. If you want to go in and get help on a medical issue, you wouldn't do that under PI. At least most people wouldn't. So there's a sense of comfort there. All of our communities are moderated by people, and people who really care about that topic. And what that allows is for very nuanced conversation. We obviously provide a layer of safety and universal rules across Reddit, but then each community has their own rules, and that allows them to apply nuance to those rules. If you're in the science community, you need research that's been peer reviewed in the last 6 months. That's the bar that they hold for that. That's different than, an espresso community that's not going to have a different rule, right? So each community can sort of figure out how it maintains the best quality conversation. The third is voting. And voting, we have upvotes and downvotes. And downvotes are really important because they allow anybody to say, this is just not good. And it's voted on first by the community that it's posted in. People who know something about that topic to say, is this relevant or not? But when you get the upvotes, and the upvotes, everybody only gets 1 vote. So you have to have thousands of people vote on a post up in order for it to be widely seen and enjoyed. You get a very credible signal, because when thousands of people vote, and that's what goes in our feed, it's a real differentiator. So it's not driven by algorithms. It's not driven by something that just you see. It's driven by the voting of thousands of people and people in communities who know this topic. Very different in terms of servicing what's good.
And I love that phrase you mentioned a few moments ago in the previous question about how people age into Reddit and how user engagement deepens over time rather than tapering off as seen on other platforms. Anything else you can share around that and why you think that is, and the kind of journey that people go on as they age on Reddit?
Well, this amazing thing is that when people join Reddit, they might join, I think it's like 15, 20 communities. And then as your life evolves, you join more, right? As I said, you get married, you have kids, you want to join parenting subreddits. Suddenly you're buying a house. Okay, you're now dealing with aging parents. Like you are now joining more communities, and people 4 or 5 years in, I mean, they're in 2, 3 times the number of communities because their interests have evolved and you can explicitly share and learn about these other topics. And so Reddit can adjust to who you are and what's on your mind and what you're looking for because it's so wide in what it covers. And because, our job is to help you find your communities at the moment. And so it really grows with you. And now Reddit, even though we have a lot of people join us in, let's say, their 20s, is like this bell curve of the population after 19 years because we have continued to retain and engage even more our loyal users from years ago. And that's very unusual in the world of social media where a lot of people age out, where the experience is very focused around a certain activity or moment in your life where you're communicating in a certain way with a certain set of people. Reddit is just something that grows with you privately over time.
And something else that we talk about on this podcast every day is how technology is impacting areas that we don't automatically associate with technology in a variety of ways. And the big star of the show at the moment is AI and machine learning. And I'm not sure if people would associate Reddit with that world or indeed what goes on under the hood to display some of the content and conversations that we read. But Reddit is making significant investments in AI and machine learning. From what I've been reading, to better user experiences, such as machine translation, enhanced content discovery. There's a few things that I've read, but can you share more about these initiatives and ultimately how they're helping users find their home on Reddit?
AI is one of the most profound technology shifts that will happen in so many ways, right? It is tied to search. It's tied to how people traverse and discover and find information on the internet. It's tied to productivity and how we work, every day across all functions. So it is a very profound influence. And I think it's a tremendous opportunity for Reddit in a number of ways. The first is that today, almost every general LLM or large language model is use Reddit's data to train on to understand relevance, to understand conversation, because Reddit is the home of conversation between many people, right? That's the best part of Reddit. And as that evolved, and we have a big search footprint because we have some of the most unique and valuable perspectives on the internet, I think the value of our human perspective just goes up. It goes up because these models need that information to train on. It has to summarize something. In a lot of cases, it's summarizing Reddit because you still need a human to decide, was this car easy to drive? Did I like it? Was this recipe actually delicious? Like, did this product actually do what it was supposed to do in real life? And then it'll be summarized and reviewed, et cetera, in an LLM. But the LLM can't do that. And so the human perspective on Reddit, I think, just becomes more important and to people's need to get information. And then the second is it's an opportunity for us to improve our product. So Reddit has grown, mostly with an English corpus, started in the US and, the UK, Canada, Australia. 50% of our traffic is from outside of the US, but a lot of those users still operate in English. But the machine translation, the quality of machine translation using AI is so high now that you can really get the vernacular and the nuance. And so we're in the process of using machine translation to help have non-English experiences based on the corpus of content that we already have. The universal questions like on Ask Reddit, which are just life human questions that everybody universally, wants to talk about and get maybe even global perspective on. So we're excited about how that can accelerate that process of globalizing and localizing. And then, we think about search a lot because today a lot of people search and land on Reddit. But, and search on Reddit has been getting better, but not the best product. But a lot of our new users, they come to Reddit trying to search, right? Because they're trying to get information. And as I said, AI and search, I think, are melding in terms of a technology and experience. And that's an opportunity for us to improve the search. We want to be much better when people are trying to search Reddit.
And of course, we're recording a conversation today during the holiday season. All our inboxes are being bombarded with Black Friday and Cyber Monday emails, and we are seeing consumer purchasing decisions shifting as well. So how do you see Reddit playing a role in this trend? How are you helping businesses leverage the platform to engage directly with consumers throughout that purchase journey?
So it's really interesting. I think Reddit plays a very unique role in the path to purchase. You know, it actually is it's sort of beginning to end. It's like Reddit is a place where you can discover new products because community, you know, when you join a community, let's say like I'm in the process of, you know, maybe becoming a skier, and I'm thinking like, I've never bought skis, I've never bought boots. Like Reddit is a place that helps you find the gear as you develop a new interest. And I call that sort of discovery as you're learning. Reddit plays an outsized role in consideration. That's the moment where you're saying, okay, what skis should I buy? Should I buy brand A or brand B? And you want real people who have bought those brands to say, you know, to give you the real scoop, the unadulterated scoop on what it was like to actually use and own that product. And that helps drive you to make a decision. And then Reddit plays this incredible role in sort of post-purchase satisfaction. You know, how did you actually get those skis to work for you? How did you maintain them? How did you, 2-3 years in, like, how did they still, how are they still delivering what you expected? It's pretty amazing. And so Reddit is really end to end. And so what we're building in our marketing, our ad platform is a platform that, one, is in harmony with our values of privacy and community first and respecting anonymity, and also leverages all of this corpus of conversation on Reddit and that intent that goes up and down the funnel. And so you'll see us, develop performance around brand, market competitive performance around brand and performance outcomes. So full funnel, in our auction. So that's everything from targeting on interest to communities to keywords. You see us also start to think about Reddit unique formats, sort of what I call community marketing formats that leverage the signals and the experiences on Reddit, the engagement on Reddit. We're at the beginning of that journey, but I'm excited about that. So I think when you look at Reddit, it's so unique because we can find you customers that you cannot find anywhere else because they don't expose that interest anywhere else, right? Like Reddit knows that I'm a gardener. Reddit knew that I was shopping for a new family SUV. Instagram doesn't know that because my friends and family couldn't care less about gardening or my trials and tribulations of buying a car.
And on behalf of any business leader that might be listening, maybe they've not really considered Reddit as an advertising platform before, and we're setting off a few light bulb moments. Is there anything else you can share around some of those unique ad formats and the performance enhancements that you've introduced? And ultimately, what is it that makes them appealing to brands right now?
Yeah. So, one thing that's unique about Reddit is the conversation. A lot of people, our most retained and engaged users, they click on a post and they go to read the comments, which is the answer to a question or the conversation, the point, counterpoint, or they're coming from search and landing on an answer to a question, which is in the conversation. We allow advertisers to be in the conversation, and that's very unique. I can't think of another platform where the conversation is sort of the gold, the best part of the platform. In fact, most of the internet, the comments are the worst part. But on Reddit, the conversation, the comments are the best part. And that's where marketers can be. They can be alongside that. The second thing is, think about the contextual and interest-based intent on Reddit. People are explicitly joining communities and expressing their interests. And as I mentioned earlier, they age into new interests and they explicitly join new communities to say, oh, I've now become a skier. I'm now interested in baking. I'm now interested in pizza. So we get very fresh, explicit signals about what it is that they're interested in that they don't expose anywhere else. The other benefit is that Reddit is, contains a lot of words and it's organized in communities. And what's amazing about words is that you can have a very fine-grained perspective on what somebody is interested in. Reading the page, the words on the page. If you think about the early days of search engines, there wasn't background authentication. It was just logged out, contextual-based targeting, right? And we are able to do that both at a broad interest level and at a very fine grain level. So what that means is that we can work for every type of business, right? So we can work for large customers, medium-sized customer, SMBs, because you can go from large pools of customers to very fine-grained. You're a vegan spice company, you can just find your vegan spice people on Reddit, which is pretty amazing. I think there are very few places that can offer that kind of narrowness and breadth. And then at the same time, also cover such a wide variety of topics. So I think we have a lot of assets that make us extremely unique.
And I think one of the big things that keeps people coming back for Reddit is that passionate and, most importantly, authentic community that frequents the platform there. And for business leaders, brand safety is also a critical issue, especially for advertisers. Is there anything you're doing to address any concerns around that, and any steps that you've taken to ultimately ensure that safer environment for both the users and the advertisers, of course?
Yeah, I mean, look, safety is incredibly important to us. And I think we have a very unique approach with this idea of layered moderation, which is, we obviously as Reddit have a set of universal rules and we do monitoring and have a safety program. But then we have human moderators and we have communities that write rules on top of all rules, their own rules for that community that they enforce. And so we're partners. Right? The moderators and Reddit are partners in maintaining the safety and the health of communities, which allows us to scale with the nuance of what communities need. Because those folks who are moderating communities, they have the best view as to what the communities need in order to be healthy and thrive. A politics community is different than an espresso community, is different than a hair community. So allows for that nuance. And then, of course, our users are empowered to vote. They can upvote or downvote and cast their vote on any piece of content. So everybody is a part of the process of maintaining safety on Reddit. So we take it incredibly seriously. I think this system has worked for us really well, and I think scales. Now, for advertisers, our view is, look, that's a very strong base level of safety on our platform. On top of that, we only run ads in communities that have been human reviewed. There's a process by which we determine where we run ads, but then also we give advertisers choice. So we have our own set of baseline safety, ad adjacency checks, negative keywords that we take out, et cetera, all those things that we do just as a base level of brand safety. But on top of that, advertisers get choice. So they can decide, I would like a third party pre-bid, pre-serving to check again, in addition to Reddit's check, and we'll serve against that. So we did that. We announced that with IAS. It used to be, with Oracle, and then we have a relationship with Double Verify as well. Most advertisers, they don't do a third party check. That's fine. They're happy with our rules and guidelines. So, but it's a choice. And our view is, we allow advertisers to determine what the best balance of performance and environment is for them.
And one of the things I always say at the end of every podcast episode is technology works best when it brings people together. So thank you so much for sharing your insights on how you're doing exactly that over at Reddit. But on a more personal note, I'm going to ask you to leave one final gift for every person listening, and that is a book that has inspired you or you would recommend that we can add to our Amazon wish list and people listening can check out. But what would that book be and why?
I'll say Infinite Game by Simon, I'm going to butcher his name, Sinek, I think it is. I don't know if you've read it, but and I've read it before our IPO, and I thought it was great. And so the premise of the book is that when you build a company, there's not this concept of winning. Winning implies that there is a finish line, like a terminus, a definitive moment where you mark victory. And when you build a company for the long term, there is no line for that. And because what you're trying to do is stay alive as long as possible, right? You want your company to live infinitely. And so if you take that mindset, you will operate the company differently and think more about the long term. And I think it was a great book to read before the IPO, which for a lot of people, I think people view as a marker, a winning line. And I was really consistently telling all of our SNOOs, which is what we call employees and everybody, oh no, this is just a milestone along the way. In fact, this is like a starting line if you really think about it. And so that was, I thought, a really helpful book for framing the next leg of the journey.
Wow, what a great choice. I'm going to add it straight to our Amazon wish list. And as I said at the beginning of our episode today, I suspect most people listening will have a Reddit account, but for business leaders, decision makers, maybe they're interested in conversational commerce and the things we've talked about around advertising, and there's so much more we could have talked around that. Anyone that wants to find out more information about that side of things, anywhere you'd like to point them?
Well, we have our blog, always, where we post the latest and the greatest. You know, if you're not an investor today and you're just we actually post a lot about our roadmap, and we talk to our community every quarter in our r/RDDD subreddit. So we take questions from our community at every earnings, and we do a video. And a lot of them are about our product and about our business. And, you know, you can even lob in a question and we'll probably answer it in RDDT. So that's, you know, in the spirit of answering questions from our community and being, you know, our community first, we do that. And so that's an opportunity to check out more.
And I'll add links to everything just so people can find everything nice and easily there. But so many big takeaways from our conversation today. I especially love, especially in a world of instant gratification, that people don't age out of Reddit like other platforms. They age into it, and engagement deepens over time. There's so much meaningful insights around that, especially conversations where users spend time seeking information and engaging. But also love hearing about what goes under the hood, making it easier for people to find that home through machine translation, and how AI and ML are increasingly making it easier to join and interact on the platform. So much more we could have talked about, but just thank you for stopping by and sharing your insights today. Thanks again, Jen.
Thanks for having me.
I think Jen has provided a fascinating glimpse into how Reddit is shaping the digital age, whether that be connecting with people through shared interests, to redefining the consumer purchase journey with conversational commerce. I'm a huge user myself. I must have over 100 subreddits, possibly even more. But I've learned today that Reddit isn't just about communities. It's about creating a space where users can grow, engage, and find information that truly resonates with them. And whether it's through AI-powered translations or community-driven conversations, Reddit continues to stand out as somewhat of a unique force on the internet. So if today's discussion has sparked your curiosity about Reddit's mission or the opportunities it presents for both users and businesses alike, I'd love to hear your thoughts. What role do you think platforms like Reddit will play in shaping the next chapter of the internet? Let me know. techblogwriter@outlook.com, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, just @NeilCHughes. Let's keep this conversation going. But that's it for today. I'll be back again tomorrow with another guest, and hopefully you'll join me again. But that's it for today, so bye for now.